It is happy hour. It is cocktail time. And Diane is joining me momentarily from the Bitter Doctor, and I'm so excited to talk to her. We are launching her website this week. It's live now as of today, which is so exciting. I'm Sari Kimbell. I'm founder of Food Business Success, and I help packaged food businesses start and grow their packaged food business. Welcome. Diane here from the Bitter Doctor. And why don't you just tell people a little bit about what your product is, what you make, and then we'll get started.
I will. So I'm so glad to be here first, and hi to everybody out there. Sari's been helping me. It's been about coming on almost 2 years that I've been making bitters.
Okay.
And some of that comes from just a love of cocktails, love of community, and doing kind of fun flavors. And when I first started making them, I made them for, like Christmas presents. And after a little bit, people were like, could you make some more of those? Like, those are really good. And so I started experimenting quite a bit more, and just have had a great time. Finally getting ready to really launch. And I've been making 4 flavors of bitters right now. Yep.
I had them up.
All right.
The screen got smaller. But yes, so we'll just show this is the aromatic one, the base, the one you have to have, the basic one, right? It's not basic at all. It has like the longest list of ingredients.
It actually has the most ingredients of any of my bitters.
It's your staple. Let me just say it's your staple bitter.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, because if you're not really part of cocktail culture, what is a bitter, and why is it like, why do we want this?
Great question. So bitters are kind of like, you think about vanilla extract. Mm-hmm. You put a spice, an herb, roots, barks, different plant material into an alcohol, into a base spirit, and let that extract over time. Then you strain it, and what you end up with is a flavoring that can make the difference between a nice cocktail and a wow cocktail. Whether that's 0 proof, because that's a really great thing to have right now, or a traditional cocktail. One of my favorite things I do, actually, I have this to my side here, is just soda water with bitters in it. And I drink that kind of throughout the day. Bitters started out as a more of a medicinal or digestive aid. So all the way back to almost every culture in the world has some form of a tincture like that. The Romans used to put it in their wine because they indulged too much and to help with digestion. But in about the 17th century, it became a much bigger deal to make these tinctures. They're kind of cure-alls. So Angostura bitters, which is kind of similar to this aromatic, a very complex, lots and lots of ingredients in it. Angostura was actually started by a doctor in Venezuela, and they gave it to soldiers to kind of keep them on their feet. And conquering Venezuela, that part's not so great, but that's kind of what they were doing. So if you have a cocktail that you taste and you kind of go, it's fine. Usually the addition of some bitters will just catapult it into a much more complex, more interesting cocktail of whatever drink. So we're going to do a couple of them today.
Yeah. So you have saved me. I decided when COVID hit, I decided to stop drinking, which seems like the craziest thing to not drink during a pandemic. But I was just like, I don't know, I'm gonna work on my business, and like, I know it's easy to just drink away the pandemic, but So yeah, I reached out to him and was like, I need your bitters because I need, that thing, that fun thing in a glass where you can add
Right,
the soda water or whatever.
right.
You add it to teas as well, right? Like hot
Mhm.
tea. But so you're gonna walk me through a mocktail or zero proof cocktail, which are becoming quite all the rage right now.
Yep.
I mean, aren't there even some bars that are just zero proof, like
Yeah,
in big
it's
cities?
becoming a much bigger deal for any serious bar to have a menu of zero proof cocktails that are just as equally interesting
Yeah,
as
I love
cocktails.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All
So,
right. So we're gonna do the kind of a mocktail mojito, which normally
mhm.
has rum in it, right? But
Right.
um so I you sent me the recipe earlier, so I went ahead and made my agave simple syrup already because that had to cool. Um so I guess maybe walk us through the ingredients that we would need in general for
Yeah.
this drink.
Of course, my iPad just died where I've got my little notes to remind myself. So I'll put, yeah, here we go. So,
Cool.
so what you did before was you just put the nectar into a saucepan with water, boiled it, and reduced it a
Yep.
little bit, just to get that agave, that sugar dissolved into the water.
Yeah. So
Um,
equal parts water and agave. So
yep,
you can make as much or as little as you want.
and it will keep quite a while in the fridge.
Hmm.
A week, no problem.
Yeah.
Um, so then you're going to take some mint.
Okay.
You have your mint.
Yes. I have one of those like aquaponic grow things that
Oh,
my sister
awesome.
gave me, and I have like mint growing everywhere. I was like, yes, I can
Yay. Mojitos. So
I can use this mint.
you're gonna take a handful of mint leaves
Okay.
and put that in the bottom of your glass.
All right. Yum.
And then,
Okay.
are you using a muddler?
I do have a muddler.
Yeah.
So if people don't have a muddler, what are they going for?
You
Any
you
other?
can use the back of a spoon. You can, that's probably the easiest thing if you don't have one. So you're just gonna, what the idea there is to really just crush that mint, release
Okay.
some of those essential oils,
Yeah.
because that's
Smells
what's
so
the
good.
flavor part of it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
once you've got those kind of nice and kind of crushed a little bit,
Okay.
you're gonna add some lime juice.
Okay.
And so far, this is very traditional mojito so far.
Okay. Yes. So
Yeah.
I love my citrus squeezer. Just a note for people. I love this thing, but if you find like they're super cheap and they're the best things ever, but you put the fruit in the opposite way that you think. So you put it
Yeah.
in cut side down. So I'm probably what I think it called for like 2 tablespoons, or
Yeah.
or just
So
do like
that's
a whole
often,
lime.
yeah, about, depending on the size of the limes, that's probably the juice of one lime.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Lime juice in.
Okay. And now you're going to add a little bit of the simple syrup, so about a tablespoon.
Okay. And that's what's nice about simple syrup is you can like go small, or you can adjust it to your taste.
Right.
It dissolves
Right.
really easily. All right.
Okay. So I'm going to say, if it were me at this point, I'd probably stir that. Yep. Stir that a
Stir
little
it
bit.
up.
I go
Okay.
ahead and add my ice now. How does it smell?
It smells awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what I didn't get out. The ice.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Important step here. Okay. All right.
Now, normally you'd have, for a traditional mojito, now you'd add, usually an ounce, sometimes 2 ounces, depending on the size of the glass, of your rum.
Okay.
But we're going to use sparkling water, but we're going to make it a little more complex by adding some of the lavender bitters.
Yes, I love it. So, and this doesn't just have lavender in it. It's got quite a few other things, but I
Yeah.
love this one. It's so great for summer
And that
Oh,
lavender comes from a particular grower over on the western slope near Palisade.
oh, I didn't know
And
that.
yeah, and it honestly, I think it's the best lavender I've ever come across.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
not going to tell you all where to get it because
Yeah,
they'll take all
you
my
gotta save your
stock.
secret. How much should I put in?
I would do about two droppers, about, yeah, that just what you've got.
And
Do
then another
two,
one?
and then we
Okay.
may add another to taste once you put in your sparkling water.
All right. Got my soda stream, sparkling water.
Live by my soda stream.
I know, right? Why pay for sparkling water?
And then if
Make
you
it a
have some lime left or any mint left, you can garnish with a little lime circle or a wedge,
sure.
few
Got
leaves.
leftover mint here. All right.
All
Here we
right, looks
go.
yummy.
Mm. Oh, so nice to mix it up, but you just get so tired of water. Or
And
not.
you're getting vitamin C.
Mhm.
The lavender has some of the herbs in it that will, um, that those extracts have anti-inflammatory effects. Definitely, the lavender is known for helping reduce stress levels. So
Ugh, so many
bitters
cool things.
were often used as medicine. Didn't even really enter the cocktail world until you know, early 19th century, 1900s.
Yeah.
Before that, it was, you know, you took your bitter pill because that stuff is pretty bitter if you just drink it. So,
Right, which we're gonna get to our other cocktail, but we have so many and we just don't have, I want to keep this somewhat short, but I feel like I could talk to you all day. But we are launching your website, thebitterdoctor.com.
yeah.
So it's up, but you are, well, first of all, I want to know where the name came from because you know I love, love, love it.
Yeah.
And maybe just tell us a little bit. So you're still under cottage food. So we are restricting the website right now to Colorado purchases only, but you're working on changing that. So,
I
well,
am.
yeah, give us a quick lowdown on that.
So, by educational training, I'm a psychologist and have been kind of playing around with other kinds of things that are very creative. And when I decided I really wanted to do bitters as a business, it was actually my dude who came up with the bitter doctor. He's really good with funny names.
Yeah,
And he was like, well, you know, bitters, you're kind of moving out of psychology to other adventures. The bitter doctor, and for me, it hits that vibe of kind of the cocktail culture, and particularly that kind of retro,
yeah,
vintage,
I know.
prohibition. So that's where the logo comes from. Is actually a fainting couch, which you might associate with Freud, not
Right.
my favorite psychologist, but a well-known one. And so that's where the bitter doctor comes from. Although I wouldn't call myself really bitter.
No, you're not bitter at all, but it was just so perfect. And I remember we were driving home from like we went to a food show and we were driving back and I think it was then I was like, what about a fainting couch? And it was just like, oh my gosh, like the
That's
Victorian era and
yeah,
everything just came together. I love
it's
it.
it's a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
then in terms of the um, process right now, cottage foods in Colorado, you have to do things like food handler certificates and safety things to make sure that you're gonna, you know, put a product out there that's safe. And I've been
Right.
doing that for a little while, but the TTB, which is the Alcohol Tax Trade Bureau, which is part of the ATF, is the regulatory body besides the FDA for bitters, which are called a non-beverage alcohol product.
Right.
Because this is about 50% ABV, so you know, about 100 proof. Um, but you wouldn't ever actually just drink that. That
Right.
would taste
Kind of
terrible.
like vanilla. You want to really
Kind of like
drink
vanilla
vanilla
extract.
extract.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
wouldn't really want to do that. So
Yeah.
I'm going through that process right now. And of course, with COVID-19, things are slow getting through bureaucracy. So we'll be
Yeah.
there. We'll be there.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
getting your wholesale license. I don't know anything about the alcohol bars since I don't normally work with that. So you got to take care of the TTB, but helping you with everything else.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are going ahead and launching the website for Colorado only. It's so funny because, some people have obviously paused, but you were like, after we all went into lockdown, you were like, actually, now I have some free time.
That's right.
Let's
That's
do
right.
this. So I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm just, yeah, I'm over the moon about your products. I love them. You also have, so we're going to use the Szechuan bitters in the next cocktail, but you also have a cardamom, which is brand new, and it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, the regular aromatic.
I'll give a
Bitters as
shout
well.
out to a really great spice company called Burlap and Barrel. And they just have some incredible spices, sustainably sourced. They work directly with the growers all over the world, and their spices are just amazing. So
Yeah.
wherever I can, I use those. And some of the things that are both in the aromatics and the Szechuan peppercorn come from them. But
Cool.
the cocktail I'm going to make is actually from Fort Collins. Cafe Vino there was one of my favorite neighborhood
Yes.
restaurants and bars. And so big shout out to Ryan and
Shout
Mark.
out to Cafe
Yeah,
Vino. Miss
I can't
them.
wait to see them back. Um, and their bar menu has some really cool stuff. So they have a drink called the Ladies Man. And
Love it.
we all fell in love with
I
it,
like
all my friends. Yeah,
And it
yep.
comes in fancy glasses, so
It
that's
does. It
that's my
does.
favorite part.
And so we added the Szechuan to it one time, and Ryan was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good!" So um, you know, it's been a lot of fun to kind of play with some of the cocktails that they have and see what works with my bitters. So what we're gonna do this one, it you may or may not have all of these exact spirits in your home bar, but you probably have something that will work. So it's rye based. I'm going
Okay.
to use Pikesville straight rye here.
Nice.
Bullet would work.
If I was drinking, I would, yeah, that's what I have
That
in my
would be
cabinet. A
fine.
bullet.
Yeah. And then I've got, just a cocktail shaker or a jigger. And I'm going to
Oh,
put in
yep.
2 ounces of rye. And I'm putting that into a shaker full of ice. And
Cool.
I've got half an ounce of Carpano Antica. So if you have, what did you have? Which one
Is
do
this
you have
is
here?
this the vermouth or the
Yeah,
Amaro?
that's the red vermouth.
Okay. I have a couple of vermouths. It's weird how many I have, but I was really into a drink that used vermouth a lot. So I just
Okay.
have kind of the basic
Well, this one is, I
Amaro.
really like it because it's similar to the, what is that, Ramzati?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
Ramsati Amaro.
Yeah, so it's an Amaro that has kind of the red vermouth flavors. I'm
Oh,
going to
okay.
put in a half ounce. And then we're going to go for the big Amaro. You could use a number of different things. I happen to love Averna.
Mm,
It plays with bitters really well because it has a pretty bitter profile on its own, which is going to really bring some complexity. Another half ounce.
okay.
Right.
So
And
half
then
ounce, half ounce.
yep, half ounce, half ounce. And I decided, so we've got the Szechuan. Husband loves to do all Szechuan bitters. So he would put in probably 3 droppers. I'm
Okay.
going to put in 2. And then I'm going to add one more of the aromatics just to give it just a little bit more roundness. The aromatics has a real rounded, some cinnamon, some different things that
Hmm.
really do a nice job. And now I'll try to shake not too loudly. So then
Hey, it's part of it. Yeah.
Yay.
Um, I wanted to give a shout out. Your website is so beautiful. We put it up on Shopify. I help you with all the back end, but I think she's on right now, but I want to give Jen Strauss a shout out for
Yeah.
her amazing photography. So
Jen,
gorgeous.
Jen is a good friend in San Francisco who does food styling and food photography that's just the most gorgeous. Um, Here's my cocktail.
Woo! All right.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mm. Mm.
Um, which actually, I think one of the things that I think you have done so well that if anybody had like could take away from this is like you have a great way of using your circle of influence to your advantage and like really getting people excited and on board. And not just like your local, your friends and family, of course, but you're really involved in music as well. And so you kind of have, so actually, we should tell them you put together a really cool Spotify playlist
Mm-hmm.
that you can get. So if you go to the website, there's a pop-up that gives you 10% off, and we'll send you the playlist, the Bitter Doctor playlist, which is super
That,
cool.
that would be great. And it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun music. So actually, that's how I met Jen. And Jen
Oh,
is a
cool.
terrific, terrific person and a great resource. So thank you, Jen, for all the beautiful pictures. They're just
Yes, they're
gorgeous.
gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Um, yeah, and so you'll see a lot of the playlist are musicians that we have gotten to know over the years.
Mm-hmm.
We host house concerts. Well, we did until coronavirus. It's kind of made it a little more difficult, but
Yeah.
some really great artists have come through our house.
Yeah.
And, if you go to the playlist, if you're outside Colorado and that 10% isn't going to be used right away, you send me an email, I'll mark it, and as soon as I get the wholesale license, I'll be contacting you, and we can
Yeah,
send
for
you.
sure. It'll be soon. We just wanted
Yep.
to do a soft launch, I think hopefully the next month or so. But even further than your music, I think, I mean, Bitters does have a following. There's, but in any kind of, any kind of category with food, there are bloggers and influencers. And so you've been really great about like following other like people in the cocktail culture, seeing what other bitters people are doing and kind of like laying the foundation, the groundwork for like sending them samples and asking them to write about it and gaining kind of that grassroots piece. I think you've done that so well. Like you're really poised to take advantage of that.
Well, I also would say that working with someone like yourself can really flatten the curve for somebody like me who, have had a whole different career
Yeah.
and, not knowing necessarily all the ins and outs. You've been able to really help me get up to speed quickly. So thank
Well,
you for
thanks.
that.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been so fun. I just have like this is just one of those products that I love all my products. They're like all my babies, but like I when you decide to restart, I was just like, yes, let's do this. So what are you working on? I just have a couple more minutes, but what are you like any like other new flavors you're thinking about or
I actually started yesterday. Jen saw a little sample of my tinctures. So I'm working on a floral bitters for summertime. The lavender is amazing in summer drinks, but I wanted to do something a little different. So it has a hibiscus base. So I can tell you right now that it's the most gorgeous looking. It's beautiful with a lot of different floral flavors and aromas, and I have big hopes for that one because I think it's going to be. This morning when I started smelling things, I was like, yeah, this is going to be
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
Be good. I have a Oaxacan mole one that I kind of just made for family, and I think for the fall I'll be rolling that one out too.
Oh, that's a great fall one for sure. Because the lavender probably plays nicely with vodkas and gins, obviously mocktails, that kind of thing. Whereas the other one, some of the other ones are a little more for the brown liquors.
Yeah, yep. Brown water. That's what we call it. Yeah,
Brown water.
yeah.
Well, awesome. It's been so fun, and now I have a great drink. How's yours?
Mine's awesome. I'm gonna have to be careful though because I'm gonna have to get some nuts or cheese or something because if I take all that now, dinner might not happen, you know.
Yeah, right. But you got the digestive thing in
That's
there.
right.
It's a aperitif, right?
That's right. That's right.
With the amaro, you got so many herbs and stuff.
All good.
Yeah. And yeah, go follow Diane on the Bitter Doctor on Instagram and Facebook. She posts you post the most like around Halloween too. That's the best time to follow you for sure.
Yeah. We have fun. We have fun with Halloween.
There's skeletons getting posed with great puns all over the house. So I'd love
Yeah.
it. Well, awesome. Well, I can't wait to see the next steps and start getting orders in. But I think this is such a fantastic product, and so happy you could join me today.
Thanks. It was great to be here.